Welcome to the Texas Go Radio Show. This is part 3 of the 1980 live stream by Owen Benjamin.
For everybody, I've decided I'm not going to pay wallet because enough generous people want this to spread, that it's all good. I'm not going to be a dick. But we will upload that on Thursday, so I will not be engaging in super chats on Thursday, but that's the plan. And then tomorrow, we're shooting a bunch of sketches. I'll still do a stream, but me and the guys are getting together. And we got some funny sketches. I saw that grab where BB meme, can't even believe it. It's great. By the way, my jazz observations about how terrible jazz is, Tom Barnett was like, listen, I love your stream, but I also love listening to jazz in my Subaru. And so this one's for you, Tom. This is Tom Barnett's favorite song to just chill out. He's just chilling out with his friends. This is what Tom likes to land the plane to. Here it goes. Find out I'm 1/8 Jewish. Here it is. Every day. And I have the camera if anyone wants to see what I do with my hands. Kyneton, you want to start with super chats? And I will also, my son Walter is doing so good with gardening. This is his garden that he's responsible for. How awesome is that? I mean, he didn't plant that stuff, but he's responsible for that. He planted the ivy. And he actually is the reason I will be growing cotton this year. Check out Wally absolutely crushing. And again, gardening is so good for kids. Chickens. He's always thinking, Dad, we're almost out of chicken food. Dad, I can't get into the chicken run unless you close this gate because one might get out. He's always thinking about others. You know,
Sorry about that. My family just dropped me off some ginger ale, some Canada Dry.
Responsibility, keeping his chickens safe, keeping his chickens fed. And that's why you don't feel that despair. And anyone can do that. It doesn't have to be chickens. It can be whatever, you know? Rockfin, try that bear.
Okay, so that he has a valuable point right there. If you have children, all of that, what he just said is good. Now, whenever you actually see the reality of his situation, he made a joke that he was going to grow cotton. That was his joke because cotton is so light to pick. My mom picked cotton as a child, and it's not as easy as what he's trying to say, but the thing about the situation is that he said that he was going to grow cotton because it was so easy. And now he's making, if it fails or succeeds, he's giving it to his son. Well, if it fails, he's giving it to his son. I personally think that if it succeeds, he's going to say, obviously, he did it himself and he let his child help him. But that's just my opinion of Owen, really.
Paying my gay way for complaining any given day. We're going to be the hero or the villain. Keep crushing. Thank you, Try That Bear. Paying my gay way for trying to entice Cod into a side bet on last night's hockey game. I know. He's been a mess at the casinos lately. This despite knowing full well that he has a degenerate gambling problem and currently in Gamblers Anonymous. Congrats. The key word's anonymous. Congrats to the Florida Trash that won the cup. Indeed. Right, Mixed Bear. A tip of the hat to the funniest Jew in the realm. Just when I thought the streams couldn't get any better, you outdo yourself and top the Jew. This might be my favorite bit to date. Keep crushing us goy with laughter. Yeah, like the idea that I control the world as a Jew is so funny to me. And I was having some hilarious back and forth with these guys until I saw, and oh no, he's a liar. They were scheming to mass report all my tweets, and the more I responded, the more they could claim bullying or something. But I was being fun and happy. So I just banned everybody and I'm out.
Is there any truth to that whatsoever? Just based on the reality of his situation, he always hits himself, or he always hits somebody else and then cries victim himself. And so I don't really know. I haven't been on Twitter in a minute. I don't really know if there's any actual proof of mass reporting or anything like that. Very well could be, but I think that's just him giving an excuse as to why he bans as many people as he does.
But you know, and then they'll pretend they're victims. It's just fucking tedious. Just get a garden. So we all know how difficult it is to identify black criminals because they all look the same. Well, the fact that half the black male population is also named Tyrone doesn't help the matter. And of course, Tyrone means property of Owen. Look it up. HBomb79, shout out to Dig Bear, Lusky, the Mexican family, and all my camaradas around the world in art and music. Loving Mexico, all the healthy air.
And you can tell a lot about a community by the inside jokes that they have. And I mean, I'm just going to leave that for what that is.
7,000 feet up, food and drink, and even some Rastafarian woodbines. Well, ever since being attacked by the white nationalists, it's probably 8 guys. But I mean, the fact Harrison Smith has jumped in. People are so easily tricked. I'm feeling brown people now. I don't know if you guys want to hear this, but I'm
being attacked. The fact that he uses that word. So he aligns himself with the far left whenever they say words equal violence. He's being attacked. Being attacked on Twitter? What kind of what kind of weak-minded horse hockey mentality is that? There's been two different accounts that I've banned in the comment section of this channel. And not one time did I feel like I was being attacked. Annoyed, really. And not even offended, just annoyed. Because they made 0 points, whatever. They were not interested in actual conversation. And it was the vulgarity. The continuous vulgarity was the annoyance. Wasn't really even offended. It was just highly annoying.
Fucking Vivek sounds great. Let's get a dot head in there. Who cares? All these, white guys, they're like, oh, you have mongrel children. You're not pure white. I'm like, you're like a Hills Have Eyes fucking science experiment. I want to bring in a dot head. I would rather have a fucking towel head of a president than any of these like white pride guys. It's one thing to want a homogenous community. I'm in. You know me. I'm fucking all about it. I live in North Idaho for a reason. All right. But if you think that's your main thing, like that's what makes you great, and you suck at life, I take a dot head. Not even kidding.
Okay, so what does Owen say is greatness? What is it? Prosperity or success? Twitter followers? in a clip that he says, he's like, this person's got 200 Twitter followers saying that I'm not successful whenever I have 250,000. That's success, and according to Owen. And the way he's talking about people of color, brown people, whatever. I'd rather have that than this. Just the disdain in his voice.
They can handle spice. Who knows how long this phase will last? Hopefully I don't say anything I'll regret. But I'll fucking take blacks. I'm working on a bit that blacks are a lot like cats, where I always hated cats. I'm like, whenever I'd see cats, people would have house cats. I hated their personality, how they acted. They're like these psychopathic, ungrateful pieces of shit. They'll hop on your counter, ruin everything, scratch you.
And then he's going to say, but then I had outdoor cats. Acting as though that's even like remotely okay saying. Well, and I haven't seen this. I just know where he's going with this.
Once I had barn cats and I see them in their natural environment, they're some of my favorite animals. I'm like, they kill for me. They are low maintenance. They're very happy. They're adorable. They're athletic. And it's just like the blacks. Whenever I see them in a northern city, I loathe them because they don't belong there. It's not their environment. The place I really like to see them is on a plantation. That's when you see them shine, where they're happy, they're in the sun, they have families, they're working hard, they're grateful. No problem with vitamin C, vitamin D.
He sounds a whole lot like that the white couple. And the only reason why I say white, because normally I wouldn't, referring to people. But in this context, a white couple adopted 4 black kids and literally adopted them for slavery. And that's the reality of Owen. I would not put it past them for them to be bears, because it's right out of Owen's perverted gospel.
They're happy because the black.
I saw somebody report on it, and they held off reporting on it because they thought that it was being reported in a manipulative way. But the more they looked into it, that's literally what the situation was, and that's what Owen preaches.
In their natural environment are some of the greatest people in the world. Just like cats, athletic, loyal, murderous, but they kill all the good stuff, the stuff you want killed. But you put them in Detroit, you separate them from the papayas and the sunshine, they're terrible. I don't know if that's worth a stand-up bit, but I like it. It's just so freaking true. Anyway, here's Walter telling you about his garden. All right, Walter, what are you growing here? I just like to show people what's possible, like other little kids, because you know how when you see something's possible, like in jiu-jitsu, they're really into jiu-jitsu now, where they see a new move and then all they want to do is that move. I'm like, I like to show other little kids that this is something they can do, and it's totally doable. And that's why I do these little videos. And he's like, oh yeah, it's great. All right, where am I here?
What else do you? What are the other thoughts that you have, Owen, about children? What about the consent and all that kind of stuff? Very problematic. When you zoom out and acknowledge everything that he has said about certain situations and yeah.
These are my horde of goats. These are my loyal, trusty goats. Check out the power of this guy. Let's go, goats, come to me. Let's ride to Valhalla. Dude, how legend is that? Dude, I could literally be Santa Claus.
Or you could literally be the person that feeds the goats. Drive by a field of cattle in a truck, preferably, and see if they don't come up to you, because the people that feed them normally do so using a truck.
No, you don't get that unless you've been through the ringer. I have a horde of ghosts that will allegedly fly me over the Rainbow Bridge to Valhalla. Okay, what else do I got for you guys? Codsworth, are we caught up? I have a mix of me singing Gunner's Dream with, I think Gagan's doing guitar and Charles Temple Bear is doing drums. And when I read through a lot of the highlights of 1980, I'll play that for you guys. And then we will look at video and we will have a grand old time. And don't forget, Rotary Times 2024 National Festival. Ticket sales end August 4th, 2024. RotaryTimes.events. I can't wait to go, guys. I'm so excited. And you'll never be around. I'm not going to say never. Allegedly, it's like the best group of people ever. And I was telling that to Top Lobster and the boys today. They're like, oh, you know, if we don't go hard at the Jays and we like talk accountability, like some people are saying they won't listen. I'm like, good. You don't want victim-y people in your crew, because then when you have events, it's like the best people. It's awesome. Versus you go just for numbers and branding and you feed them the slop they want.
He doesn't want victims in his collective group because he is the ultimate victim. He doesn't want other kings in his collective group because he is the king. He wants weak-minded people that just they agree with everything that he says or justify the insane things that he say. And he's so far into the insanity that the people that back him up and try to stand up for him or defend him, they just flat out ignore all of the other stuff, all the problematic stuff.
You keep them in that victim consciousness, and you don't want to be around them. So I highly recommend you guys come down to Mountain Grove, Missouri, where we have purchased and secured acres of land for our third festival. How great is that? How great is that, guys? The accomplishment we've had. This will be our third festival, and can't wait. Okay. Doug can't come. Well, no, the thing is if we have the numbers, we can take degenerates and make...
Sorry about that noise, the bottle of water. I'm holding my phone with one hand, and so I had to do something else to put the top on it, and it popped. But he's had 3 praise and worship services for himself, and he didn't even show up to the first one because he was legitimately scared that his mouth might be eventually catching up with him. And then he realized that he had to show up to the second one or everything would collapse. And I do believe he's going to show up to this one. And this very well may be the last one. Might not be, just because, I mean, it's a cult and that's what cults do. Even the cult, the Buddha-filled cult, is still in existence, even though that documentary came out and all the ex-members said everything that they said. It's still, the last time I looked into them, they were operating in Hawaii.
Them like us, like what we did to Jacobat. When you have the majority, you can raise people up. The problem is when the garbage get too many numbers and they start influencing others. But we could totally take Toad and make him a real man. And it's a very active festival, a lot of activities. It's sober, it's great. Shout out to the Missouri sheriffs for keeping everything safe and crushing. Yeah, and they're pumped to do it this year too. I have a great relationship with police all over the country. It's funny because making fun of victim consciousness really resonates with cops. You know, my mom just had to talk to a police officer and totally knew who I was. And, you know, like at Oswego, a lot of people, they won't speak my name sometimes. They're like, oh, you know, but the cops are like, oh, yeah, Owen Benjamin, sweet. And I've noticed that throughout a lot of cities. And I think it's because they deal with victims all the time. It's not about blacks or minorities or whatever. It's about people that have to blame someone else for the fact they just committed a crime. You know, I was just watching a Matt Cox one today about this black lady, you know, stole like 30 grand from a bank. And she was like, I do not feel comfortable around a police officer because my brother was murdered by one because he's black. And the cop was black. And he's like, I will treat you really good. And she's like, I can't be around a police officer because my brother was murdered and you're not respecting that. And that's basically cops all the time, you know? And so when I make fun of that, they think it's great. And they know I'm not doing hate. The Jews now know I've never been doing hate. I can see them waking up to me very quickly. Even little Adam King from InfoWars.
If you actually took his live streams and edited out all of the things that he says about himself... it would significantly reduce the time. No, everybody loves me, man, especially the cops. Every cop in the nation knows me and loves me. They know that I'm not preaching hate and all that kind of stuff. Or, no, I'm a really good guy. I'm a decent guy. I swear to God, I've never kissed a dude. That one live stream where he repeated that an embarrassingly number of times. Like, just thinking about the ratio of what he talks about in his live streams. Himself, the majority of the time. Reaffirming the lies that he has said about himself. Repeating, supposedly, what other people say about him. That cuts it down significantly. All of the verbal pornography, that would cut it down. Sometimes very significantly, sometimes not so much. But then you boil it down to the essence. After all of that, you do have some nuggets of truth that he has to have, because cult leaders have to have that. But then you have the vulgar gospel of Owen Benjamin, which is, give me money, pay your G away, and if I have any G to pay away, then Coddington's going to pay it, because I don't take accountability for myself. We all know that. You know that because he'll tell you, yeah, call me out on this. I mean, if you do, I'll probably ban you for life. It's just thinking about the actual substance of his live streams. The way he talks about different people that aren't white. He's so delusional in that he, and it's not even a big deal. I'd try not to mention his family at all, but whenever he says that his wife is white, which if she was or wasn't, that wouldn't matter. But the fact that she's not and he says that she is, that's just insane. But that's another thing that cult leaders do. They say something that's obviously not true as though it is, and his cult has to accept that, because if they say anything differently, then they're banned for life. And so going along with the obvious lies as though they are truth, that is a very manipulative way of getting you to be compliant in almost anything.
It's just like, now he's constantly retweeting me, being like, he's crushing. I'm like, dude, I'm doing the same shit. And you used to think I was anti-Semitic, and now you think I'm crushing, because you now actually see people who hate you. There's a lot of people that are hating the Jews. And now you realize that I was just being kind of playful and fun and making fun of your weaknesses. Adam King is a weasel. I kind of like him. I mean, he's got a lot of trauma from like heavy Jew indoctrination, but Adam King better than Harrison Smith? Yeah, Harrison Smith is like, what did he say? I got to read this. This is just classic Gamma bullshit. Listen to this. He said, back before I had a show and was still behind the scenes at InfoWars, I helped connect OB and hosted for Alex a few times. No, he didn't. Never did once. It was someone else that works there. Never once. He's already lying. When he was not invited back, he flipped out and did a whole...
Notice he doesn't mention anybody else's name. No, it wasn't. It wasn't him. It was somebody else. Blah, blah, blah.
live stream blaming it on me for some reason. Never once. It's because we did the moon landing debate, and then he started ankle biting and talking shit. I never once blamed him for anything. Okay. Attacking me super viciously despite no one knowing who I was, and showed my personal emails on stream to try and humiliate me. Basically, everyone who has ever tried to help him has a version of this story. Help me. Trying to help me, Harrison.
Yeah, that's true, man. That's true. There's that clip of Jim Bob and Curtis Stone having that laundry list, which that's a name of a list that I've never seen anybody make a list for their laundry. I might not be saying that correctly, but that doesn't make any sense. Anyway, a very long list of names of everybody outside of Hollywood that Owen Benjamin has worked with and no longer works with, associated with, no longer associated with. If you go around people, if you go around this person and this person has a falling out with you, and 12 people down the road, every single one of them has a falling out with you, and you still say they're the problem, that is beyond delusional behavior. And the fact that the Bears cannot see that, how can you wrap your mind around the reality, or a fake reality, that Owen Benjamin is not the problem whenever it comes to him being associated with other people that's walked away? The only way that that's possible is through brainwashing and manipulation from cult leader tactics, based on the activities that the cult leaders do in order to persuade the reality of the people listening to them.
Know your pecking order. You are like so low, and you're help me. I did Alex Jones's show because I was trying to help Alex Jones, because Alex Jones was being canceled and I had a more mainstream name. After the Israeli stuff, where I was called an anti-Semite,
okay, so he's never had a more mainstream name in the realm that he's referring to whenever he was on Alex Jones. Maybe, maybe, and not even then. He's never been more mainstream than Alex. And I say that knowing that Alex, not really mainstream, but everybody knew who he was. And a lot of people like him. More people than what a lot of people would like to accept. He's talking about the guy that worked for Alex that helped Owen, saying, helped me? No. Like he's so low. Just the way he talks about other people. Calling himself the king of Bertaria. Acting as though he's bigger and badder and better than everybody else. That's crazy.
Pissed off at Alex, called him a sweaty meatball, you know. And if I fucking went at Harrison, it was just because of the moon landing thing. Because he just got smoked. And then he wants to just talk shit. Because he just tweeted on Blackpilled. He was like, good riddance to OB. He's a grifter, liar, weasel. Like, what are you talking about?
That's a good assessment of Owen Benjamin. A grifter. I'd say scammer, really. Investment fraud, potentially. Liar, for sure. He lies about so many things, it's insane. It's practically impossible to list every single lie that he has said.
About man, he sounds like a girl. Oh yeah, it's the chaos girl energy of just making stuff up, holding grudges for years. I was listening to you on AJ when that one caller set you up, but I'm not mad.
Yeah, making stuff up. He does that all the time, holding grudges for years. Does he? I mean, he's slowly acting as though he doesn't have a grudge against Crowder, or maybe not Crowder, but maybe Crowder. But definitely Joe Rogan. He hated Joe Rogan forever. And now that his house of cards, the castle of Bertaria, is crumbling around him, burning down, he's trying to mend bridges and stuff. That's one of the reasons why he reached out to Gavin. Because he literally doesn't have anybody else that he can go to.
Did the caller set me up? The caller was like, yo, Owen, you're the only one that'll call out Israel. Alex won't. And I'm like, oh, cool, man. Yeah, you know, Israel does some crazy stuff. But Alex is like, I was just chill about it. And then after, Alex is like, we can't have that kind of anti-Semitism on the show. Cut to, you know, look at where we're at now. And I'm still saying the same shit. And everyone's like, oh, you're a shill. You've been bought and paid for by the Jew. Anyway, all right, let's move on. Codsworth, are we caught up? Oh, my favorite thing these days is my orchard. I'm very proud of it. I've planted 32 trees. Here's the update. And then we'll dive into 1980. Okay, I love this orchard. I'm like obsessing about it. I just want to show you guys what I planted this year. So full-size Honeycrisp. We're going to get a lot of cold air coming off that. I might put a wind block there with wood or something. But check this out. And then we have the drip system. So then we have, I think this is an apple to help propagate that. Yeah, Golden Delicious, because the Honeycrisp need pollinators. This looks like a cherry. This is, Stella. Stella cherry. That's a Stella cherry. That, I believe, is a Stella. Or no, it's a van, so they can propagate each other. This looks like, what is
I guess that's a new word that he's learned, propagate.
this? Ooh, nice. Another kind of cherry. I think this is a plum tree. Is this an Italian plum tree? Yeah, Italian prune. Hey, well, I'll be right there. What is it, bud? And then rows of apples, pears, plums, pear, cherry. This is the row that we've had for a while. These guys all lasted. That's a new guy. I'm thinking about doing another row here, though. But yeah, I love this orchard. Okay, so that's the orchard.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I've got a healthy appreciation for that. I wonder who planted all those, who set up the drip system. I'm sure he says that he said that he did. But as a homesteader, I mean, and I'm sure I'm not the only one that's pointed this out. Pretty sure somebody else pointed this out to me. I've heard somebody talk about this. I wish I could remember who. But all of the other homesteaders that do homesteading, seriously, if they were to do that type of project, they would show you what they were doing, how they were doing it, why they were doing it the way that they were doing it. And even though he proclaims to be a homesteader, and that's one of the reasons why he does his live streams, very rarely have I ever seen him actually do anything and show what he did, why he did it, and how he did it. Now, Curtis Stone, I only had to look into him for just a little bit to realize that he was a legitimate homesteader. And I wish I would have known more about him whenever I covered him mocking gloriously mocking Owen Benjamin and showing Owen Benjamin and everybody else for who Owen Benjamin really is and was with the whole mirror thing. But, yep. Let's see. Yeah, this is the Texas Go Radio Show. As always, till next time.